Thankfully, there are, at least at the more junior ends, equal numbers of women as men, but as you get more senior in the profession, that number dwindles. And when it comes to black women, well, you know, we're lucky if we even feature, frankly. Hello, I'm Rashida and I'm an award-winning lawyer, and I'm the founder of Strand Sahara, an online legal consultancy for African businesses looking to scale.
Hi, my name's Tshay Brown, and I'm the CEO and founder of Fuse Concierge. I look after high net worth individuals for NFL players, royal families, serial entrepreneurs, the list goes on.
Hi, my name is Chantal Tshay. I'm a research and project manager working in academia, and I'm also a children's book author. I wrote the book John Jay. It's a children's book set in Liberia on clean water sanitation.
Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a complete first. I have three lovely young ladies with me. The whole reason for this video is because it is International Women's Day. So I thought, what better way to celebrate women than to have these lovely ladies come on my channel and for us to kind of discuss some topics and issues that we go through on a day-to-day basis all around women. So we celebrate women today, and that's what we're going to be discussing. The first thing that I wanted to discuss with you guys is women empowerment. Obviously that's very important. It doesn't necessarily always happen, especially as black women. So one thing that I wanted to discuss with you, in terms of your peers, do you have other black women or that you work closely with, or are you the only black female?
I've not come across anybody else in my industry that's black that does the same job that I do. Not sure why, but I think it's quite male dominated. In terms of individuals working in the industry, there definitely are other black people and women as such that are representing the industry that I'm in.
Well, I think my perception is a little bit different because maybe you can tell from the accent I'm American. And so my experience in London in this country is much different from my professional experience in America. I've been here for about 5 years now. I've made very good friends, and within my circle, we support one another, but I don't think it was as obvious or as easy as I anticipated when I moved here, because the culture in the US is very much based on like associations and networks and the whole idea of fraternity and sororities, and all of that is built upon building this like inner circle network, whereas it was not as obvious in London, so you have to, you know, seek it out a little bit more. It was a little bit different, but once I did find the group of women, including Rashida, I definitely received the support and encouragement within my circle, and my circle is mainly black women.
Well, I'm a lawyer, one of the oldest professions in the country, and unfortunately one of the least progressive when it comes to diversity. I remember actually last year having a stat sent to me by one of my colleagues. It was a selection of stats we were putting together for Black History Month, so October last year, and it highlighted the fact that only 2% of the qualified solicitors in this country are black. That I found astounding, you know, really quite shocking that the number's so low. It's much lower than the proportion of black people in the UK. So it shows that, you know, we're actually underrepresented. Not only are our numbers small, but considering that, you know, the legal profession is supposed to serve the entire community, everyone in society, the fact that there are so few black lawyers means that it really doesn't reflect the society that we live in at all. Thankfully, there are, at least at the more junior ends, equal numbers of women as men, but as you get more senior in the profession, that number dwindles. And when it comes to black women, well, you know, we're lucky if we even feature, frankly. It's a really sad situation. And I know that a number of firms have now got to the point where it's embarrassing for them. It's embarrassing that they have clients who are black, or, you know, whose leading general counsel are black individuals from America, from Africa. And, you know, they're sitting across the room from with their legal team, who 15 sometimes people might be there, and not one of them is anything but white, middle class. That's another issue. Class issues that we face in this country.
Yeah.
There definitely is a dearth of black female professionals in the city law firms, but we almost form a bit of solidarity with each other and try to get more in, because it actually makes our life easier. It makes our day-to-day more enjoyable to have people in the office that we can relate to, who understand the pressures that we're going through, and there's almost a bit of a safety in numbers. But the challenge has always been, you know, trying to get them in, trying to do whatever's necessary to make sure that they get the interview, they get through the door, and then once they are in, they stay.
Yeah.
So I guess because there was less competition, that wasn't really a factor for me. And I've been supported and, you know, really championed by more senior black females. And if anything, being black has actually helped me in the sense that, you know, it means that my face is instantly recognisable. You know, I can't hide.
Know who you are.
Everyone knows who I am. You know, it sometimes, you know, it can feel like a bit of a burden sometimes, because you know that if you do anything wrong or, you know, make a mistake, it will be remembered.
Yeah.
Because you're so memorable.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it can work in your favour. When you do something really noteworthy or great, then that is also remembered as well. And so it really helped with me in terms of building my profile.
I would say with my experience, being from a creative background, starting off with dance, I would say that yes, it's a lot more diverse, especially in dance. You tend to come across all races and nationalities as well, because a lot of people actually move to London, because if you're from Europe, London is the place to be if you want a career in dance. It is very diverse, but with that being said, being a black female and in society, with there not necessarily being enough, well, you would feel as if there isn't enough space for another black female, because everywhere that you look there hardly is any black females, or you just have one token black female. So I think there's naturally an aura of competition. It's not really spoken about, but it's obviously there.
It's definitely systemic. I've noticed that.
Yeah, you mentioned it before, but you were really surprised.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I think everybody is so used to being the only black female. So the only black female in the office, the only black female in the class. I could go to an audition and my very close friends are in that audition, but nobody told anybody about it. So I'm not going to say, I don't think I've ever done that personally. I don't think I've ever done it, but clearly I didn't tell anybody about that specific audition. But I still found myself there, and I still found my friends there. And it's just one of those unspoken things that you just don't talk about. Because I caught you, you caught me, let's not talk about it, but then we're still cool in the audition anyway. So I think in that sense, that definitely happens. It definitely happens, and it's just because of the mentality of thinking they're not really going to cast two black females. I need to come harder, or I need to basically stop the opportunity for that person. And I definitely have felt that people doing that to me a lot, but I tend not to be like that, because I mean, even with YouTube and fashion and performing arts as well, I find that I'm very open with giving out opportunities, because I personally feel like if something is made for me, I will get it. I have no issues working hard. I have no issues working harder than everyone else, because I always feel like that's something that I've always had to do throughout my whole entire life. I've always had to put in extra work, not because I'm not good enough, but because I'm black. I'm so I'm so used to having to do that.
And a female. Yeah, I think it just doubles up, doesn't it? I've literally all my life, I think, even from school days to like secondary school to my first job, I've always been the token black girl in everything. Majority of my friends, majority of them were white, but now majority of them are black. So I think times are changing, but I'm still pretty much just used to always fighting that extra kind of, going that extra battle, and putting in the extra work to be able to get that promotion, to be able to make the same level of salary, to make the same level of, like, you know, whatever it be. I've always had to go super, super hard. So yeah.
Okay, so we've touched on being female and being black in our professional industries. So now I kind of want to move it on a little bit, and being a female. So we're not in this because we don't have children, but these two do. So being a female and being a professional and having a child, what are your experiences? What do you find hard? What are you working on? What are you working towards? Or what do you find that you do really well?
Well, so I've got a young boy, he's 2 years old, but having him, I decided whilst pregnant that I was going to start my own business, and being naive, completely naive to the situation, didn't realise how much work having a baby actually was. So I decided to launch a business, have a baby, and think I could do it all and still have a great smile on my face and everything else. So it has been tough, but I suppose having a supportive partner and having kind of that support mechanism has been able to help me progress. I would say what I found throughout that period is the lack of support potentially from family members and from friends as well. But I would say what I've learned from this is I just have to keep going. You've got this face looking up at you, looks at you every single day, and even the days where you wake up and you think, I can't do this anymore. Shall I give up? What's the point in this? Shall I just be mediocre and just go and get a 9 to 5 again? But I think what I've learned is
not that there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5.
No, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. I'm just talking about like giving that. You know, I stepped away from having that kind of 9 to 5, but, you know, and I actually started to, you know, set up a business. What I've learned from it is, you know, just to keep going. No matter how you feel about something, just keep focused and keep going, because every single day you're making a progress. Even if you spend 30 minutes a day working on your dream, you've got to keep going. It's tough. I used to have to put him to bed and then work, but you've just got to keep focused. So I would say discipline is the biggest thing.
Well, that's interesting because my discipline levels are not very high. But I actually have a quite similar story to you, I think, in that it was having my son that really made me reevaluate where I was in life, what it was that actually ultimately I wanted, the life I wanted to lead, and whether or not the career that I was pursuing and in the particular role that I had was leading me down that path or taking me in another direction.
Food delivery.
I found that having him actually made me more ambitious. It actually made me really think about the life that I wanted to give him, and also the life that, you know, I wanted for myself with him. I wanted to spend time with him, but I also wanted to show him what could be achieved. I wanted him to have the confidence to know that, you know, he should follow his natural strengths and talents and passions, and not feel that he has to conform. Black people are underrepresented and in fact presented in a very negative way in the media, and, you know, I mean, that stems back from slavery. If you look at what was done to enable slave owners to feel that what they were doing wasn't evil, it was all about dehumanizing black people. And that cycle, you know, that wasn't a long time ago, and it still persists in society, and it's been taken over now by, you know, negative perceptions in the media. Things that are perpetuated through the media, through
the media.
every echelon
media.
of society, mean that people say things or they do things which are offensive to a black person, but not offensive enough for you to make a big fuss. You know, it's one of those things that you just have to, it's okay, she's not racist, she doesn't mean it. But, you know, the energy that we expend to deal with that, and, you know, the idea that it doesn't affect us, I think, is just ridiculous, because it does, it really does. It's an added stress and weight that, you know, we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't realise how much I was putting up with these microaggressions and the effect it was having on me until, as a lawyer, I started working in Africa with African clients, and just seeing the way that I was treated by them made me realise that, gosh, yes, this is how it should be. Actually, I shouldn't be not trusting my own judgment, or I shouldn't be expecting that I need to explain myself more clearly or give more evidence or make sure that I'm backing up what I'm saying with you know, with incontrovertible facts, because no one's really going to believe my word. You know, just little things like that you realise you do, because that's how you have conditioned, you know.
And I've realised since setting up my own business, because coming from the city, like, and being that token black person in the office, I think setting up my own business, it's made me realise I can set my own standards and set my own, like, I'm not saying I'm going to start recruiting loads of black people, but if I have to, then why not? I'm going to recruit the right person for the job. But I'm saying I just feel that I can be me, and I'm free, and I don't have these rules, and I don't feel suffocated or like I'm having to dumb myself down to make people feel like I'm not the angry black woman, because that is a thing, and let's not get into that because we'll be here all night and do what I want to do.
Okay, so touching on what you said about how you're now in a position where you can create opportunities for other people. Has anyone here ever had a mentor before?
Yeah, I've definitely had a number of mentors in my life. Actually, I've sought out mentors, and I've also mentored younger people. In my professional life, when I initially started, I started in Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. is America's nation. This is our capital. And so lots of people come to DC for different reasons, and it's really, really with a purpose. It's really, really difficult in DC, one of the toughest cities in America and probably in the world, to make it. So you need a champion in order to get into certain industries, if you're into policy, to push certain agendas forward. So it was really important for me to seek out mentors in that way. Actually, helped me get my first role in London. So when I moved to this country, so I think mentorship is really, really important, and I would actually say that without my relationships, I probably wouldn't have gotten some, or even learned about certain roles and things to advance my career. So I'm really big on that. I always help younger kids get into, or younger women get into, like, university, help them with their essays and things like that. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Michelle Obama. Like, there's a quote that's always on all of my emails.
Oh yes, I see it.
Yeah, when
You have a quote in your signature.
Yes. And I love it because it's exactly who I am and what I believe for.
What's the quote?
I'm paraphrasing, but it's essentially what she said is, like, when you have walked through that door, you keep that door open to help pull the next person in, to provide the same opportunities that you were given to get to where you are. And it is true. It's really important. You don't just close the door behind you because you're at a certain position or a certain spot in life. You need to open those doors and provide the same opportunities for women like you or people like you to expand the network. And I think that's really important. So mentorship, totally.
Yeah, the reason why I actually said it is because I personally think it's bigger in America than it is here, because I've never had a mentor before, but I went to, the event that we went to, the Girls in Power event, there was a panel of females. One was a videographer, one is a UK female rapper, one was a academic that taught in a fashion school, the other
Radio presenter.
and they spoke about their experiences coming up and so on. And a few of them actually said that they had had a mentor, and now are starting to mentor others. But I've never had a mentor, and I think it's definitely something that I want to look into, and it's definitely something that I would be happy to be a mentor for, you know, a younger person that is looking to go in the same direction as me. So yeah, that's the reason I wanted to speak about it, because I think definitely moving forward for the next generation, I think it's definitely important for us to kind of let them know about our experiences, or maybe even pre-warn them before I started my business, if I kind of had, you know, those disclaimers or other people's experience to help me maybe not make not necessarily bad decisions, but maybe mistakes, or enable myself to do things a lot better. I definitely would have loved that. So I think that's definitely something that I'm going to look into. But Rashida, you were saying that you went to a school.
I went to a school.
You went to a school and was speaking to children.
Ah, yes.
She's like,
We all went to
school.
Could you continue with the lead in there? Yes, so no, I agree. Mentorship's so important. And actually, something you were saying that I agree with. I don't know if it's a cultural difference or it's just the way that us British people are, but you know, we're a little bit reserved.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say that.
I think that actually doesn't work in our favour when it comes to seeking out mentors. You know, like, oh, I'm going to ask for that person's time and sit down with them. What are we going to talk about? It might be awkward. We don't really have anything in common. And all of these things, you know, sort of go through my head. And so it would prevent me from going out and actively seeking mentors.
Maybe that's what's so daunting in this culturally in this country. It doesn't have to be a situation where you like look at someone's bio and like, yes, I want to be like that person, I'm going to email that. That's one approach. But other
Stalk them.
yeah, that's one
I want
approach.
your job.
Yeah.
Help me get there.
That's, some people go that route, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But other ways of going about that is when you do go to certain networking events, and I know you speak to a lot of different people and you gather a lot of different cards and stuff, but it's that one particular follow-up email and want to have a coffee, informal things. It could be just going to an event with someone and getting to know that person. Getting to know someone on a personal level is probably the best way to get a champion, because once they get to know you on a personal level, they're more inclined to help you in your field and professionally. So it's building that relationship on a personal level first before like moving forward in the professional setting. When I was growing up in school, like in some of my like middle school or high school, we had to have mentor the younger students. So if you were a senior, you would be assigned to a freshman first year, and you would show that person the ropes. So it's something that's like very much ingrained in the culture.
Mentorship is I think it's important.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
if I knew as much as I knew now, and that you could get mentorship and you could be guided and everything else, I feel like I would have elevated to a much higher level. I feel
Faster.
like I would, a lot faster. But I think, you know, the mistakes that I have made, and you know, some, anyway, have made me a better person. But if I had somebody there that I could go to and get advice from all the time, I think, I would elevate so much better. So my advice would be, if you have somebody that you admire, whether it's from a business perspective or even from a personal level, I think reach out to them, you know, actually ask for their advice. I think I mentor people without even realising I'm their mentor, because a lot of people do come to me and they do actually ask me for my advice, or, you know, whether that be personal, whether that be business. Reach out to somebody that you like, if it's the same industry, if it's somebody that, I don't know, you want to be like, but I think just don't stalk them. But yeah, it's important.
We all stalk.
LinkedIn is good for that.
Let's be honest, we all
Yeah.
okay.
But I mean, like ringing them all the time.
No, absolutely. And I was just going to say, I totally agree. And actually, the way in that I found really useful was actually becoming a mentor, and then seeing that actually I gained a lot from that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just about giving; it was about, you know, sharing things that come so naturally to me, or sometimes just giving a different perspective. You know, oftentimes people, when they're thinking about things on their own, they can have a really negative perception of, you know, their abilities or what may happen, and you're just able to turn that around a bit and challenge them and ask them, you know, why is it that they're thinking so negatively? What if things go right? What you're scared of isn't really anything to be worried about. And it was through being a mentor, going to schools and speaking to, you know, younger children, speaking to more junior, or even now, something I'm really proud of and proud to be part of is a mentorship network for African lawyers. And that it's shown me that actually there's a lot of value both ways for having that relationship. And so I feel less like I'm asking a big favor of someone, you know, when I approach them, because I realize that actually they're going to get something out of it too. It's just having someone to talk to and have them sense check your ideas, have them give you new ideas, and just see the world in a different way from their perspective. Really valuable. Think about the fact that you are, you know, you've achieved something in life, and there are going to be people who are looking to achieve the same thing, and you are a role model to them. So don't underestimate your journey and the value of your story, and how much you can help others by just sharing that, and be willing to, you know, be open and show them that, you know, you're not superhuman, you're not particularly clever, you know, you were able to make it work, so can they.
Just piggybacking off of what you were saying, and I guess it brings the conversation full circle, is you can also have peer mentors, you know, just because, you know, the friends that I have, they are my network and they do empower me in a way, but exchanging ideas and their experiences are different than mine. So they may, although we may be on the same level, may have graduated at the same time and things like that, their experiences are different. And so that you, based on your own personal experience, you can help me in ways that you wouldn't even know. You don't always have to leave so far outside of your circle. Some of the people that will champion you the most are in your inner circle.
And if they're not, you need a new inner circle.
That is true.
So staying on this positive note, this is pretty much the end of our discussion. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. This whole video was to uplift all of the women on International Women's Day, and in our cases, Black women. We are talking for all women, not just Black women, but obviously as Black women we really want to reach out to you guys as well. As I said before, make sure you comment and subscribe and drop us messages. We're all here to help. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.